Hi everybody, it's the 19th, I think, and for this vlog, I'm going to keep it probably pretty short. Honestly, I'm just going to take it easy. This is another one of those, like, I had a very busy day, and I'm going to just try to take a few minutes to hang out with you and talk a little bit about some stuff, and process and relax and, like, just kind of calm down from the last 4 hours, well, 5.5 hours of playing D&D and doing Court of Swords. And before that, running around, doing a couple of quick errands. And before that, game development. More often than not, this kind of day is pretty regular for me. I'll wake up sort of early, eat something quick for breakfast, and then just get right into it. And it's 8:30 at night now. I'm going to be recording this vlog and editing it while I make dinner. And I'll probably be in bed by about 1 a.m. And I'll have a couple of hours, hopefully an hour at least, before bed that isn't work stuff. But this is the life of a content creator. I think this is pretty normal for a lot of people that do the job that I do. You know, we work a lot and we pick this job not because we want to slack off and play video games, but because we want to bust our ass playing games and making cool content. It's funny, I have a hard time thinking of a job that I've done where the way it's perceived versus the way it actually is so different. I know that a lot of people look at what we do, you know, Twitch streamers or YouTubers or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's easy. You just like make fun videos, which is true. I do. This is great, and I love it. And the fact that we're a few years in and 100 episodes into an enormous Dungeons and Dragons campaign that thousands of people tune in to watch every week, that alone is like a dream come true. But it's a lot of work to do the stuff that we do. And I am so lucky to be surrounded by the people that I collaborate with. I'm just feeling like a little tired and very thankful and like happy to be here at the end of the day recording this vlog. We've been doing this a while now, and it's going to be weird not doing it every day. I'm enjoying vlogging, and it's been really cool getting to talk about things that are on my mind. So actually today I wanted to talk about something that I am super excited about for the future, and something that you're going to get to see some of, hopefully live, and some of it on video. I mean, depending on your time zone, it might be the middle of the night where you are when Zeke and I are broadcasting from Japan. Zeke and I are going to Japan on the 22nd of March, and we're coming home on the 30th, basically a week in Japan. We're going just to Tokyo, and this will be my 4th trip to Japan. That's so exciting. That's one of those things that if I were to go back in time and tell myself as a kid, by the time you're 35, you will have gone to Japan 4 times. Not just once, but 4 times. And every time has been different and fun and cool, and I cannot wait to go back and re-experience all of that cool Tokyo stuff, that magic, with someone who's never been there before, and get to show them places and translate kind of as best I can. But it's going to be something real special, I think. The first time that I went to Japan was in 2013. I went with Emily, who you saw in the video. That's Griffin's bird mom. I went with my brother Corey and our friends Chris, Tyson, and Eric. So it was a big group of us, and we rented a house in Tokyo. And we were in Japan for almost 2 weeks. And that was the first time I got to see all of the really neat stuff. The first time I got to go to Akihabara. The first time that I had sushi straight from the Tsukiji fish market, which I think is closed now. So I'll have to find a different early morning fish market to take Zeke to. We get to see temples and giant robots. Well, not real ones. And maid cafes, though I didn't go into any. And just get to do that, like, wide-eyed tourist thing that you do. We were in Japan for almost 2 weeks, which meant that we could go other places besides Tokyo. So we took a weekend trip to Kyoto. And Kyoto is really cool because it's all historical stuff. There's Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines. Of course, it's a metropolis. It's a big city. But that was the reason we went there. In 2015, I went back, actually, to Kyoto to host Bit Summit. It was like the first year I had been streaming, and at the last minute, Twitch needed somebody to go and take over for a host that had dropped out. And Wheat knew that I knew a bit about Japan, and he reached out to me and said, hey, you want to go to Japan for a weekend? And I think we had this conversation on Thursday, and I was in Kyoto Friday night. So that was kind of a whirlwind event. And I went and I did that, and that was really fun. I didn't get to see much of Kyoto, but it was cool to get to connect to the game dev community there. I got to see some neat games and connect with some developers whose stuff I'm still keeping an eye on now. My most recent trip to Japan was a much broader one. I went for 10 days 2 summers ago, and a friend of mine and I flew in to Tokyo, and we were only in Tokyo for a day, and then we took a long meandering journey up to Sapporo, and we saw a bunch of much more traditional Japanese things than I had seen before. You know, I'd been to Kyoto and I had visited the temples and the shrines and seen some of that, but it was really touristy stuff. This time we stayed in small towns, in Airbnbs, in a bunch of different places, and I got to see a different side of Japan that I hadn't seen before, and it was pretty cool. I remember feeling both kind of overwhelmed by how different it was, and also there's this kind of quiet in the chaos of an otherwise bustling country that I think is really neat about sort of suburban or even rural Japan. We got to see Sapporo, and I got to do all that stuff, and that was a really great, if totally exhausting trip. I remember that trip especially because as soon as I came home, I went straight to Gen Con, and I gotta tell you, Sapporo to Indianapolis is maybe the biggest cultural whiplash that I can imagine. It was pretty intense. I remember needing a lot of time to recover from that extended summer. That was the summer that Roleplay did all those one-shots because I was gone for a really long time, and so there were all of these little one-shots that happened in my absence. This time it's only going to be a week, so I'll probably only miss, 1 episode of each show. It's a funny thing. Most people, when they think about going on vacation or they think of traveling, they're like, I'm going to take time off work and I'm going to go and I'm going to come back and I will take a vacation. But for me and for other broadcasters, going away immediately means how many streams am I going to miss, right? How many people are going to forget that I exist or forget to resubscribe while I'm gone? It's a hard thing, feeling like you have to constantly be up in front of people or they'll just forget you. It really makes you feel like your existence is transitory, which kind of appeals to me in like a nihilistic way, but it can be a little stressful. Thankfully, though, for this trip to Japan with Zeke, we won't really have to miss anything in terms of content because we're going to try to get a streaming backpack, and I'm going to bring my camera, and we're going to make vlogs, and I want to share with you that same thing that I'm sharing with Zeke. I want you to be able to experience Japan through our eyes. And that, for me, like, if you know anything about me, if you've seen any of my content, you know that something that's really important to me is sharing the things that I love with other people. It's why I love this job so much. It's why I love being a content creator so much, because I get to show you all the things that I think are amazing, like role-playing games and photography and the country of Japan. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to show some of that off. Now, Japan is only one of a number of far-reaching international trips that I have coming up this year. I'm going to PureCon in Poland, which I've never been to Poland. I'm so excited about that. It'll be the furthest east I've ever been in Europe. I'm going to go to Korea. I'm going to be in Korea for a weekend. That one's like 95% certain, but I have a photography opportunity that I'm going to be taking up in Korea. And also, obviously, we have the Roleplay live show, the 100th episode of Court of Swords, which, traveling to St. Louis, it's not exactly as exciting as going to Tokyo, but I get to see my friends and play role-playing games, so that'll be pretty cool, too. So yeah, I know it's several months off, but keep an eye out because there's going to be lots of Japan content, and I'm really excited to kind of show it off. I've been planning some locations that I want to take Zeke, but hey, maybe you've been to Japan. Hell, maybe you live in Japan. What is something in Tokyo that I shouldn't miss? What should I show Zeke? Because I wanna see all the coolest stuff again. So yeah, that's something that we've got our hotel room booked, we've got our flights booked. It's happening. Money's been paid. Now it's just a question of waiting. And at the breakneck speed with which it seems my life is occurring, I'm sure that I'll be flying into Haneda, Narita. I can't remember which airport we're going to. I'll be flying into Japan before I realize it. And I hope you're excited to see it too. Japan is a ways off, but my stomach is grumbling and it's been a long day. So I got to go make dinner, and we will see you tomorrow for more of Vlogmas. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.